Like, I get it. Not everybody cares about the Football Manager graphics, but I do. And I have for ages. Whether it's been tweets or the round table or me going on about this 10 years ago before Zealand did his bloody tweet that everyone talks about. I've wanted Football Manager to look like a game from 2025 or back then 2017 would have done me for ages. For so long. And so have you, really. And even if you're not interested, you should be happy that we're finally moving forward. The crowds still don't look good. Hello, welcome back. I'm Ben. Let's talk through then. You know who I am. Let's talk through this trailer. Let's go through it bit by bit. You've probably watched it 50 times. You've probably seen the screenshots. My Twitter got 10 million impressions yesterday, so I'm back. I won't play the music because there's only so many times I can hear the word watch. So come on. So listen, this is a big deal. Regardless of whether you care or not, and whether you think Football Manager is about this or not, it's still a big deal for Football Manager to make this level of change, to be talking about Unity, to be showing it off like this. Pause. Yeah, listen, I get it, right? Listen, the player faces are not great. They also don't have the licenses for the player faces, so the player faces are never going to look that good. It is a bit of an indication to what the regen faces are probably going to look like. It's just not great, if we're being really honest about that side of it. People get very emotional about the regen faces, rightly so. But that's, yeah, not great. I hope they've got a live shot of the VAR at some point. I'd quite like to see that with a man and loads of screens. It could just be me, to be honest. They don't have stadium licenses. People are asking about that. That doesn't seem to be the case. Because I think if it was the case, they'd be bragging about it more. And they haven't really, have they? By the way, who authorised this shot where you don't really see the flick properly? Why would you not, like, show it so you see it beautiful? Anyway, I don't know. And I think this the big thing, right, is it does look like FIFA from a while ago. Let's not pretend it doesn't look like that, because it does look like that. The slide tackles look quite good, by the way. The collision engine, the blocking engine, those all look quite good. A lot of people are saying this is like the same animations from FM24 just ported over to a new graphics engine. I don't think that's the case. I think there are definitely some new animations in there. Like this sort of goal, you've never seen a player head the ball in midair down to that level. Realistically, though, the Manchester United player doesn't score, which is good. Good to see that they've still got the attributes of those players correct. Good grief. There'll be United fans watching this going, I just can't escape this. I just can't escape it. And some of the movements and the goalkeeper moments do look really good. I like how many times the players don't score, as if that's the feeling we're going to feel a lot. That pass there, from what I believe is probably Saka, I'm a big fan of. In fact, this one here, sort of around the corner to Gyökeres, that's really nice. Lost the man. I love that. Like that sort of stuff I think does look really cool. And like, again, hammers it in. Is it perfect? No. Did anyone think it would be perfect? Did you? I didn't think it'd be perfect. But I think what they've actually put together is really quite nice. Like that nice little chip goal. And yeah, I think a lot of the animations are taken from 24 because the match engine that it's sort of like based upon is really good. I think that's something that we kind of forget as Football Manager players. And a lot of people are critical of the match engine, right? But Football Manager's match engine is really good. It is realistic. It is true. So like that, they have done the best they can with that, to the point where they've been able to go before, and hopefully the idea of moving to something like Unity allows them to do so much more. And you can see from just a few of the animations that we saw there, they're trying to change the game. Lovely. That free kick at the end, by the way, we'll watch that again in 3 angles, across the goalkeeper into that top corner. Don't see that very often. What will still be great, though, is that when you get a free kick hard out on the edge of the box, you probably know you're going to score. And that's going to be nice. But I'll let it play through in the background while I talk again. I think this is something that, again, creators have wanted for a long time. I think the majority of the community have wanted this. I did a survey a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that, like in 2023. 17,000 people took it. A lot of them, the majority of them, wanted an improvement to graphics and cared about the graphics, and even said that like 50% of the people that took that survey, by the way, said they would upgrade their computer to play. The thing that I think a lot of people forget is that this game now is not just built for PC. In fact, it's largely built for everything other than PC, and PC makes up a percentage of the player base which is not as high as it used to be. We've gone from it being 80% to it being a lot less than that, less than you're even thinking right now. And so we're kind of at a weird stage where it's trying to appeal to both sides. It's trying to play the field a little bit. It's trying to appeal to PC players that have played forever. And of course, we want to see the UI, we want to see tactics, we want to see the depth, and people are concerned that it's gone to become a console game. And I get that like people are worried about that. And if you want my honest opinion, I think this game is going to be largely built with console in mind. And I think the player numbers of the past few years are a huge factor in that they've not put out pre-orders after a massive backlash of pre-orders last year. When they didn't release the game. They've now released 2 bits of content, and Miles has done a load of interviews, which we could talk about on Bonus Benji, actually. I think I might do, where they're trying to. What's really obvious to me is they're really trying to do the right thing, and that's good. Obviously, the way that this was brought out is there was a leak across another platform, and we found this before we were supposed to get it, which is obviously not ideal and not how they would plan a launch, but you've got to be fluid with these types of things, I guess. You've got to be ready to push it out. And as soon as that leak happened, like it was less than 20 minutes before they were like, let's get it out. I think it's good. And the thing that I care about most, and this is what I want you to think about as well, because I think this is where my mindset is with it, and hopefully this will make you think, do you know what, he's got a point, is that I got to a point with FM 24 and 23 and 22 where I was like, I don't see the future of this game anymore. I don't really know. Well, like, it's going to look the same. It's going to feel the same. It's going to do the same things. With this match engine and this graphics engine, especially the graphics engine, I can see where it's going. I can see the future of what's to come, and I can see that actually this isn't final form, and that gives me a lot of, okay, because now we can build on this, and regardless of like, listen, I think the game's going to come out, and I think it might be quite bug heavy. I think there could be some things in it, and if it's not, then hats off to Sports Interactive. You had 2 years. It better be good. But I still think like the change is so drastic to the point where it stopped your game coming out, to the point where we thought it was going to be March. And so they've really had sort of like that January to March period. And Miles has said in an interview recently that by Christmas he decided it's not coming out. So they had an extra 8 months, you might say, before they've started showing us stuff to get it ready. And it's got to be, like, I'll be honest, I think it's got to be pretty perfect. I think you're going to get a lot of criticism. And actually, they're already getting quite a lot of criticism from the way in which they've rolled out the information on FM 26. But I think they've rolled it out in a pretty, clever might be the wrong word, but like a pretty good way. And again, I think like there's a lot of pressure. They made a Rob throwing back. They lost the trust of creators to a degree. They lost the trust of the wider community. And I know the creators are a small portion, but they represent a massive portion of the audience. Like, it's a fair standpoint, and people get frustrated by that. It's like, you don't speak for us. Well, actually, when we go to events and things like this, we kind of do. But they also appreciate that we represent a portion of the community, not the entire community. And so you giving feedback, like, they're not against that. And a lot of the criticism they've had, they actually think is fair enough. But I think we're at a point now where if we're not positive about it on such a big change, then we're only ever going to be angry about it. I think the price point's going to be really interesting. They've not announced that yet. Will it go up? Will this change make it go up? The specifications and the ability to play the game have changed as well. Like, that's going to be really interesting because it's now a 20 gigabyte game, which it hasn't been for a while. And the minimum specifications are hardware, like, not the minimum. The recommended. The minimum is still like an i3. Like, you'll still play it on a potato. It just won't play very well on a potato, which I think is fair enough. But the recommended specifications are 7 years old, nearly 7 years old, 6 years old. So is that not fair? Because that seems pretty fair. And listen, I said before, console matters. The reason console matters is the amount of people that play on PC now is a smaller number, and so the people that are playing on machines that find it difficult to play Football Manager is a smaller number. And so there had to be a point at one stage or another, and we kind of said this in roundtable videos I did with Loki, Mazzy, and with Jack and Kev, like, at some point you have to shift away from those people and move towards the future. And it feels like they finally moved towards the future. And this is like what I've called for a very long time. Again, before Z did his tweet, I wanted the graphics to improve because I thought it would make a richer game. And I think from what I'm hearing, I mentioned before, I've had 10 million impressions on Twitter in a day. I've never had that before, right? I posted a lot of the screenshots. I talked about it. I didn't post any video. I just posted screenshots of like this, the excitement, the intrigue, the desire to want to play Football Manager was as hot as I've ever seen it. I think creators are positive about it. The studio seemed pretty positive about it. I thought some of the terminology and some of the things that Miles said in his interviews recently was a little bit questionable. Like, some of that was a little bit like, ooh, we'll see. But I think we're in for a good year. One thing that's interesting about all of this gameplay, and unless I'm wrong, there's no women, which I think's curious. It's the flagship year that they're bringing in women's football, to which is, for some people, a problem. Yeah, whatever. For most people, is cool another league in the same way that other leagues might be added as well. And it's interesting that like there's not a single, like, if you're a women's football fan and you thought you're like excited for it to launch this year, not a single shot of women's football. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're going to do a big thing on women's football, and they're going to showcase it almost separately, which I think is quite brave. But I think just including it in this would have been a better choice, honestly. So I guess we'll see. Again, female models, the way they moved, everything like that. Like, again, that would have been interesting, but they just haven't done that for, and I'm sure they've got their own reasons. But I thought that was a curious choice. But again, the difference between FM24 and FM26 is a 2-year difference. You can still ridicule this and say it doesn't look great. It still looks like FM, well, never an FM, like a FIFA 12, 14, 17, wherever you want to pitch it. People saying it looks like Pro Evo, looks like PES. I think it looks good. I think, again, good in comparison to what we've had. And some of the lighting's a bit off in some screenshots. Like, for example, and I'll try and find it because it is funny. I believe it's the Saka one that I showed you a minute ago. We'll enjoy this together because like from a trailer perspective, like it is kind of funny. Where's the sun in this picture? Is it over on that? Is it up there or is it up there? Where is it? I don't really know. Do you know what? These things happen. Maybe there's 2 suns. Maybe you pay extra for. Maybe there's DLC. You get 2 suns. Right, team. That's gonna wrap up. Look, my feelings are pretty obvious. I'm excited, but I think now I've seen it. This is always the thing when a new game comes out. Now I've seen it. What else are you going to show me? What else are we going to get to see? And so that now is my priority. I want to see how tactics work. I want to see, like, there's no shouts anymore. Like, they're showing a little bit of the UI off, but there's no shouts. It's like, do I just shout at the screen? I guess I'm going to have to. All right, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and we'll talk about more Football Manager news as it comes out. But people are excited for a graphical change, and so am I. And so should you be, even if you want to play in 2D. And even if you hate the fact they've put some resources, I'm sick of the word resources, by the way. Good God. But yeah, more Football Manager news. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it as it happens. I'll be live on Twitch as well most days. To change the game. They've changed the game. They've made it look like a game from 2016 now, but that's still good. Still better.